All right, so the skies weren't what we hoped for this morning. Sun's just about rising. Seeing a little bit of pink over the building. Good hike, about 5 to 10 minute hike. I mean, you're going straight up the stairs, as you'll see. Definitely worth it. We'll try to come out here when it's a little bit sunnier sometime. But for now, try to enjoy the view. Hey, good morning guys. We're coming to you from Culver City this morning. So we're going to Baldwin Hills Overlook. It's also known as Culver City Stairs. Going to do a full review today of the DJI Ronin-S like we promised in our previous video. And this will be a really good example of how well the image stabilization works on the DJI Ronin-S, because we're going up 2 to 3 foot stairs in some instances. Going to try to get you the sunset this morning, try to see the sunrise this morning. It's a little cloudy, but we might see it breaking through, which should be good. You guys will see how good the stabilization is. We'll do some sweet B-roll, and then you'll see after that full overview of the camera. Won't get into specs too much. I think there's enough videos out there on specs, but I'll talk about more overall performance for my use cases, see how things work, and then we'll go ahead and dive into that. We made it. Beautiful view. Wish there were less clouds today, but we did it. Pretty quick hike, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so we're getting back in the car. We're gonna go ahead and head home, do a full review of the DJI Ronin. Whole hike was about maybe 45 minutes. We went up the stairs to get there and then took the trail on the way down. Got some good B-roll, so I'll show you that. Stabilization worked great. The sunrise did start to happen near the end, so you'll get to see a little bit of that as well. See you back at the studio. Gonna make a quick stop at one of my favorite bagel places. All right guys, we're back in the studio and we just had some fun with the DJI Ronin-S at Baldwin Hills Overlook. Overall, you could see the stabilization was pretty amazing, especially when you consider how big the stairs are that we were going up. So I'm very happy with this setup. Let's go ahead and run through the top 5 pros, followed by the top 5 cons, and then just kind of finish with my overall thoughts on the setup of the DJI Ronin-S. Number 1, overall stabilization. As you can see, it's pretty amazing. I've used different hand setups in the past. I've tried to use monopods. Really, when you look at the overall package of the DJI Ronin, it's pretty compelling. It goes and offers the next level stabilization that really lets you do some cinematic photography. You can see I did some low angle shots right next to the ground. Stabilization is perfect. It really adds that cinematic effect to things. Number 2, battery life. Battery life's really been amazing. It's blown my mind how good the battery life is. I went for a hike in my first video here for about 3 hours, and out of the 4 bars on it, it was only flashing the first bar. So I can see you getting an easy 8 to 12 hours out of this device in a single use. So it's pretty impressive, should get you through almost any shoot you need to do. If you're traveling, just charge it overnight and you'll be fine. It accepts USB-C, which is nice and easy as well. So it is compatible with things like my camera, my computer, my phone, everything else charging on USB-C. So very convenient in that aspect as well. Number 3, ease of use. I'm the type of guy, I'm gonna rip something out of the box, I'm gonna try to use it right away. I'm not gonna look at instructions. There's pros and cons to that, but I found overall, I've been able to use this now for about 4 or 5 shoots. And honestly, other than a few YouTube tutorials, I haven't looked at much out of documentation. I've gone through the app a little bit. I've got some good tips and tricks out of other videos that really helped me understand how to use it better. But overall, there's still a lot to be untapped within here, which really brings me to point number 4, how expansive this is. When you look at the app, I'll show you some clips here. It lets you do different cinematic modes. You can do landscape photography, you can do time lapse. There's really a lot of creativity that can be done with this gimbal outside of just pure image stabilization. So make sure to check out the app. It's got a lot of great features. One big point with that is to make sure to do the auto tune. So what you need to do is open the app, turn on your gimbal. At that point, it'll allow you to pair it with it, go into configuration, then go ahead and click auto tune. It's gonna take anywhere from maybe 10 to 15 to 20 seconds. It's not too bad, and at that point, you'll have butter smooth stabilization. All right, number 5 Pro. So this thing breaks down very easily. This head portion detaches from the battery, which detaches from the tripod or base. It also allows some modularity with the base in a sense if you want to attach it to a monopod, even on the top of a tripod. For some of them, you could do that as well. So it does break down. I think overall we'll get into size a little bit later in this review, but it's pretty compact, and if you need to travel with it, throw it in your car, throw it in a small bag, it does break down into 3 fundamental pieces to be able to accomplish that. Now diving into some of the cons. So you really need the app to fully use this device. As I said, auto tuning, that's really essential. I found every time I use it, even if it's with the same lens, because you're gonna shift things around a little bit, the stabilization might be off from last time, you have to perform that auto tune. That's really integral to make sure that you have the best stabilization possible. So without a phone to pair, if your phone's dead, you know, it is a step in the process that can make things a little more complicated. So just be aware of that. Definitely have your phone charged, have the app available, and auto tune before you go out shooting. Con number 2, initial issues at launch. So there were a few problems when I first got the device. I was one of the lucky ones to pre-order it, get it almost right away at launch date. The app itself, I couldn't get paired. There were some problems with them not providing the default password. As well, it didn't even see the device initially. Good news is that it has all been resolved. I just want to put it into the cons bucket because it was something to be aware of. It also alludes to potential QA issues down the line. So maybe they launch a new feature. It's only going to work on iOS versus Android. We don't know. They did get their act together and fix things, but it definitely felt like something, given the overall greatness of this device, I wanted to call out for those that do need to be aware of those types of issues. Third con for this device is the size. I know for the amount of stabilization and the quality, it's a pretty compact device. However, for my use cases specifically, which I alluded to that I wanted to review it against, I'm really a run and gun style shooter. I go for a lot of hikes, I do things outdoors. It's a little heavy. It's not something that's super comfortable to carry. It's not unmanageable. You can switch arms enough that it's pretty easy. That's usually what I do throughout the videos. As well, traveling, you know, it does fit into a bag, but you're gonna lose a lens, you're gonna lose a drone. You're not gonna be able to fit everything you would necessarily want to in your bag along with this device. So it's definitely something in the past I've negotiated when I wanna go on a trip, if I really wanna bring it or not. You'll see some comparisons now to different devices here. So we have a Manfrotto tripod. Next, you have the DJI Ronin-S, which comes in comparably to that. Beyond that, you have the Sui monopod. This actually breaks down into a mini tripod, so I wanted to show that. And then last but not least, you're gonna see the Joby here as well, the flexible tripod. Overall, it fits on the higher side of the scale spectrum, so it is pretty large of a device, something to be aware of. Last but not least, in DJI, I've got to knock you on this one. I only had 4 cons actually. I couldn't even come up with 5 with how much I love this device, but you don't work with Sony. So everything I'm doing is very manual. The app works with the gimbal holds the Sony, but in terms of hooking up the USB-C to the port on the Ronin, it doesn't work today. You can use infrared, but honestly, that's not something I want to do. You have to bend a cable around. It's got to shoot directly into the Sony itself. Overall, come on, Sony is killing it in the mirrorless game, and just not supporting them natively is really frustrating. So hopefully they'll get that together in a future update. I mentioned initial problems at launch. Maybe this is one of them, and they're going to go ahead and fix that later. I really hope so. Overall thoughts now for the DJI Ronin-S. It's a great device. At under $1,000, at the size it's at, the stabilization it offers, for those that really are looking for something to up their video game to the next level, it's a great device. I believe it's still a little limited in availability. It's really made me want to explore video a lot more. It's not something I'd use for photography. I've tried to mess with taking photos while it's on the gimbal mid-video shoot, and it just really doesn't work well. It's gonna wobble, it's not gonna play out well. So video-centric device, amazing stabilization. It allows you to get different shots that weren't previously capable. Again, the app is incredibly robust, so that's gonna allow you to do things like time-lapse, like landscapes, really take your video game to the next level, like I said earlier. So I'm more than happy I got this device. It's really changed the way I think about video and made me want to go out and shoot more videos for you guys. So I'm excited for what the future holds. And overall, yeah, thumbs up for me. I'd recommend it. If you're on the fence, go ahead and get it. You won't regret it.